everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult, and thank you for coming back for episode 3 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your Dungeon Master, Jillian, and I just want to say a quick hello to all of our players. We have Frank, we have Josh, Mac, Ray, Kyle, and Krista. Last time we left off, the group with their, I would say their leader Ave Hemming, taking them into the Valley of Odin. They went through their first day and were being stalked by wolves. The next day, this came to a close when the wolves encircled them and a fight broke out. The wolves ran away in fear, assumedly maybe afraid of our heroes. Instead, a giant, undead, corrupted polar bear bulldozing forward. Tordrek stepped forward, cast Turn Undead, and in a pinch, it worked, and the polar bear went running. The group also picked up their stuff and ran as quickly as they could, getting away, leaving a burning corpse of a wolf in their wake and a corrupted polar bear running the opposite direction. The group continued to run until they couldn't anymore, until, your lungs start to hurt and there's just a pain in breathing. But where you all stop, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. You can only hope that the polar bear had kept running and the wolves went their own separate way. And that's where we're going to start. You all have just finished running.
We lost them, right?
I think so.
I'm sorry, everyone. I think the loud noise I made may have alerted the bear to our presence, and I'm sorry.
No. It could have equally been the large wolf that I created.
Large wolf that you created.
What wolf?
Yeah, I did. I created an illusion of a large wolf. Did you not?
It must have been an illusion.
Oh.
I suppose for us.
That's interesting.
I just saw you dancing with your hand.
Yeah, there's a wolf illusion that comes off, and I was sparring with the larger wolf.
That's why it didn't pay us much attention. I was wondering. That was very clever.
Oh, thanks. You guys are amazing. I've never seen people fight like that with bows and arrows.
I'm tired.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm tired. Can we stop and have a drink? I need some inspiration. I think we've earned it.
I think we could all do with a bit.
Yes.
I'm sure just a moment would be fine, and then continue onwards. I don't see anything, but I don't have the most keen eyes. And Ave sits down instantly, out of breath and tired.
Leave the watching to Fen and myself. We'll keep an eye out.
About what time of day is it?
It's probably around, I'm going to say noon.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of time, a bit of lunch, and then we keep moving.
Yes.
Stay on alert.
Of course.
Don't want to get snuck up on by a bear. As strange as that sounds.
Or wolves. Anything, really, would be not great to be snuck up on in this particular environment.
Is everyone doing okay? I have a little bit of healing magic at my disposal, if anyone needs a little bit.
How's Ave?
Oh.
Check on Ave.
I know I'm a bit old, but not so much that I'm very fragile. I
I must take care of my very old and very fragile brother. Please.
If I can sit down for a moment, I will be just fine.
I'm fine, Roshan, thank you.
Can I look at Ave and see if he has any anything that could be mended by a quick low energy healing spell?
Roll me a medicine check, please.
22.
You look over at Ave, and as he's just kind of focusing on breathing, he kind of has his head back a bit. You can see a bit of blood staining his arm. It looks like where a wolf had bitten him.
I will move over to him and just put a hand on his shoulder and just as nonchalantly as I can put some healing energy into him, and he can regain 3 hit points.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to do this stealthily? Is that...
I am trying to do it subtly.
I would love a stealth roll, please.
15 total.
Ave seems incredibly just distracted by just being worn out. And he doesn't really notice you fixing his wounds. I think the cold has everybody a bit numb to pain to full extent. So it's just more focusing on that, and you are able to very casually give him a bit of healing so that the wound does not infect. So he should be fine in that sense. All of you sit down. It sounds like you're having a drink, maybe a little bite to eat, something to warm the bones as you all sit together. Are you taking a short rest?
Short rest is about an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an hour.
I think we can afford that around noon, no?
I believe so.
Yep.
Tordrick, are you all right? You saved us. I know your legs are a bit shorter than the rest of ours, and you look to be breathing fairly hard. Are you all right?
I've seen things I've never seen before. I think I'm all right. I've got a few scratches, but yes. I'm all right. I'm all right. 1 second. I'm all right.
Knocks back a pint.
You fought
Perfectly
well.
fine.
You fought well. I'm not sure where we'd be had you not acted in the way you did. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, all my miracles are due to the 9 sisters. I am just a vessel of theirs, and now it's time to celebrate. Well, we lived. We all lived.
We did.
And with that, he starts humming a song that the dwarves would sing when he was very young. That was kind of like something to get the kids all riled up. So he starts humming that and sits down.
Yeah, Tordrick passes out drink. Everyone takes a bite to eat. You all take a short rest. So if you regain anything, if you want to roll some hit dice, by all means, go ahead.
Roshan, during Tordrick's song, will just subtly join in and start harmonizing and activate the Song of Rest feature.
Ooh.
So there it is. So if you do regain some of your hit dice, you may also add a d6.
Nice.
All right.
Hey.
Nice.
To heal up.
Roshan, life of the party, as always. Ooh, full 6.
Ave is at full health.
Wonderful.
Ave's looking much better after just getting to at least sit down, catch his breath, and a nice secret heal on the side. He seems to be much better.
While we're taking this short rest, Fen is keeping an eye on the horizon, but also kind of looking around on the ground. Am I able to find any stones, small stones, maybe baseball size or even smaller?
Okay, I would like first give me a perception check and then an investigation check. Anybody who's keeping an eye out also could roll perception.
That's a 12 from perception and same roll, but I don't know if they have the same modifier. Only a 9 on investigation.
Only got
Okay.
a 9.
Who else rolled perception?
Gorbjorn
Yes.
for perception.
Okay. And Nanna, what did you get?
Total 15.
And Gorbjorn, you said you got a 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a 1, if that helps.
Okay.
Oh,
Saga,
Saga's just absorbed.
Saga, as you're sitting there and you're having a little bit of drink, try to warm you up. Your legs are crossed, and you're occasionally moving your feet across in the snow, and you look down and you see 2 X's where your feet were, and that is enraptured you.
The Lady Seda left a sign. How wonderful.
Nanna, while you're looking around, you look in the direction you're going, and it's pretty far off, but you see something that you can't pinpoint it, but it's very big. Not big as in tall, big as in wide. And it's just a low shadow, it looks like. Just a long, straight shadow.
Where is Fen around where we're taking our rest?
I'm sure he's nearby. Then you took a look around trying to find stones. And you said you got a 12?
12 on the perception for looking for threats. Only a 9 on the trying to find stones on the
you
ground.
don't find any stones in the right size that you're looking for.
Okay.
He's
Fen.
nearby.
Fen, a moment, if you would, please.
Yes.
Can you see that out there, where we're headed, along the horizon? Looks like something rather... I can't quite make it out. It looks to be something wide, quite large, not very tall.
Do I see what she's pointing at?
After it's pointed out to you, it's pretty obvious once you see it. It covers most of the horizon for you in that direction. It is very long.
Yes, I see it. What do you imagine it is?
Well, with as long as it is across the horizon, I'd almost expect it to be a tree line, but I don't think so.
Could be a potentially a cliff face.
Maybe. Whereabouts in the valley are we? Do we have any kind of map? Do we have any kind of idea of how far in we've gotten?
I mean, you've seen occasionally Ave will pull out a map and take note of it. If you had to guess, though, you are not incredibly deep into the valley. You are just getting started.
Oh boy. Well, definitely not our destination. My guesstimate is right.
Ave stands up and he kind of brushes some snow off of himself and he kind of feels his arm. Well, I'm feeling a bit better. If we're ready to get going, I don't want to rush anyone.
I believe at least I'm ready.
If we're going to cover ground before the sun sets, we should be on our way.
My toes aren't tingling anymore. I'm ready.
Always a good sign. Mind you, don't drink over much, or else you may find that being a problem.
All of you get up, kind of get your limbs moving. I'm assuming Gorbjorn, you take a hold of the cart or the sled, and you start your trek towards the what I'm just going to refer to as the shadow on the horizon for now, which becomes apparent as you all continue in that direction. It grows a bit, but it's not like it looks very tall as you approach. You think you would be there within about 3-ish hours tops. The ground is just so flat here. Like, you think you could reach this line by the end of the day.
While we're traveling, Nana would like to kind of walk up alongside Ave and gesture over to the line that's along the horizon, kind of remark, that on your map, what is it we're heading towards?
He pulls out his map. You get a quick glance at it. This does not look like it was drawn by a cartographer. This is a pretty sparse looking map with a lot of question marks and assumptions on it. It's
wonderful.
He takes a look. From where we are currently, I have nothing that I can tell you about that, and we can just hope that it's fine. We'll see when we get there, I suppose.
How often in your adventuring years did something you just hoped would wind up fine actually wind up being fine?
He smiles and looks over at you. Probably not once. And he pats you gently on the back and kind of moves ahead, rolling up his map and putting it back into his bag.
It always works out for me.
Then it's bound to work out. She's with us.
We can only hope.
As you get closer, there's really not much else to be done besides walk. It is just flat and sparse. The snow is, I would say, about 3 inches deep at this moment. It's not incredibly deep, but it still makes that hard crunch of ice sound each time you step. And the sound of the sled dragging through is just, it's hard to move quietly. It's near impossible. But as you get closer, you're realizing that you're looking at some type of ridge. There is a place where the ground raises up all the way across. You do not see an end on either side. And as you get closer, it is not very tall. As the sun sets, you can see it starts to wane out the shadow a bit. But you see it's about 20 feet from where, like, if you were standing in front of it, 20 feet up is the direction you're going. So it's like the ground split and rose all the way across. If somebody would like to either give me a survival check or a history check.
Interesting.
I would be up for that. And just tell me which one you...
There's a 20 to survival.
Ooh.
I got a 17 for my survival.
Bastard 20.
Got a natural 1 for survival.
15 survival.
Does that mean I die immediately?
He's in his element.
Sean looks at the ledge and just drops.
Careful there.
He's too busy looking and just tripped.
Then, as you think about it as you're approaching, you imagine it by looking at a map of the continent. You think you are on a similar plane, a similar level to where the path of Mjolnir is, where the bridge is. You think it could have been caused by that. This is a split in the earth all the way from the bridge.
I think we're at about the latitude of the path of Mjolnir. It's entirely possible that if the hammer of Thor fell here or hereabouts, that it left this impression.
Certainly would make sense based on the old stories.
If the myths are to be believed.
Exactly.
Isn't the hammer, or supposedly what's left of it, isn't that many miles to the east?
It is. It would take days for you guys to get there. You are days away from the path. But you are on a similar line as it. So that means the impact, which is rumored to have split the continent in two, seems to have fissure lines that went into the valley.
Huh.
About what time do we come to the fissure?
You get to the fissure around, it's about 4:30, going on 5. Oh no, you spent it out. Yeah, it's more like 5. As you approach, though, as the night begins to creep in, you realize that this split, this rift, is blocking out a lot of wind. Like when you get up on it, it is a spot safe from a large brunt of the wind. And as you approach, you can see that the base of this split, this fissure, is covered in like black, very thick vines, like covering the full base all the way along the bottom, are just these very thick, about 5 feet of just vines all the way across.
And are they made of the same charcoal type of material that the trees were made of? Is this that same chalky?
So same with the trees. Would you like to touch it?
I would like to draw one of my kukri from my belt and take a slash at it. Yes.
Okay, you go up to it and you take kind of a hesitant slash across one of the vines. The first thing you notice is that you had to break through a nice layer of ice to get to the vine itself, but it is not made of the same material as the trees. It almost seems, it's like you can see the juice starting to come out of it. It's like a very, very dark green, almost black.
Okay, so these vines appear to be living, or at least closer to living than any of the other vegetation we've seen since we entered the valley.
Saga peeks around. She was standing behind him the whole time. Oh, do you think we could cook them? They look like what do they, take a sample.
Does anyone have a vial?
I have a couple bags and cloth sacks.
I don't think that cloth sacks are the best for collecting liquid.
Yes.
I've my mess kit. I've got a cup in there, if it helps.
Then will use his kukri to kind of scoop up some of that ichor from the vine and try and, is it sappy? Is it liquid? Is it?
As you kind of scoop up a bit with your knife and try to get it into this cup, it's not as like thick as honey. It's looser than that, but it is pretty solid. And when you you have to like scrape it off a bit to get it into the cup, and it leaves behind almost a like a light brown coppery color on your knife that you have to wipe off. That sticks behind.
Okay.
Saga, don't eat it. We don't know if it's safe to eat.
I was just gonna ask if I could try it.
I wouldn't taste it. No.
Can I smell it?
If you want to determine if something's safe to eat, the first thing to do is wipe a bit of it on your arm, on your forearm, and give it 30 minutes or so, and see if any sort of rash starts developing. Then do the same thing on a more sensitive area like your armpit. Then you can start to smell it or touch it, or taste it a bit, but don't swallow any of it. See if that's the safe way to see if something is suitable for eating. If at any point during that process, if you are the one that wants to to experiment with this. If at any point during that process you start to get irritation, numbness, that's an indication that this is not a safe thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Already.
Is that you rubbing it on your face?
He was talking
Right
and
on the
probably
back.
like vibing over here, and I was already like, all right. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
you
try
look
this.
over at her and she already has like war paint on.
She drew the Lady Satyr symbol on her forehead, and then did some like things around her cheeks, and then just did a little smiley face over here. And
You're just like,
The
so
cinnamon
far,
roll is not going to survive.
no, it'll be fine. Lady Satyr.
yeah, when you put it on your skin, it sticks pretty well. A little runny, but you're able to use that to your advantage to make a little pattern. Like, oh, okay, I fixed it.
How's it smell?
There's a very earthy smell to it because it's on your face. It's unavoidable. There's an earthy smell to it, almost like freshly dug dirt. Like a soft amount of like of sweetness, just a tiny hint of it, and a bit of a coppery smell.
It's it's earthy, a little bit sweet, and maybe almost like a bloody kind of irony, or it might be a good seasoning for some bread.
Let's table that one.
Like
until we
Marmite.
can-
Maybe. Yes.
You and your strange elvish delicacies. I will never understand you, Fen.
I mean, the goddess hasn't steered you wrong yet. Do you think she'd want you to eat this?
That's a good question.
Nanna.
It's a very thought-provoking question.
Saga has to make a religion check to decide if she needs to eat
Does
the
God
sap.
want me to eat this unidentified plant?
I
I don't know what the roll would mean, but it means something.
think I'll leave it on my face for an hour, and if it improves my skin, I'll try it, and if it doesn't, then, or if it makes it worse, then I won't.
All right. Do we plan to stay here for the evening, or do we want to try and move up to the next level, I suppose?
This is probably where we'll have the least wind, most able to stay warm throughout the night. This may be as fine a spot as we find for camping overnight.
I would suggest, however, that at least one of us takes a leg up that cliff just to make sure that there isn't anything surprising waiting for us up there.
And about how high is the cliff?
It's about 20 feet high.
We got rope.
I got good athletics. I could do this.
Yeah, Nanna or
There's no
Gilborn, you haven't seen anything in either direction that might be an easier way to get up than this sheer face, is there?
I can certainly take a look.
I mean,
I can help. Saga walks up to the sheer face and does kind of puts her hand on it and then pulls the hand away, and like a piece of earth shaped like her hand pulls out like a foothold, a mold earth.
Hey!
How's that?
That's incredibly useful.
Extremely useful, and it would be much safer to go up that way, perhaps along with a rope, just for safety. That would be
All right.
excellent.
Just give me a few minutes. It takes a little while, but I can create some stairs or handholds at least.
Wonderful.
right.
And when she's done, I think Fen will climb that and set some pitons and run some rope through, so we've got a bit of a safety line and may make it easier to get up once the rest of the party needs to climb it.
Mm-hmm. It'd also make a nice little escape, just in case we need to scarper from camp in the middle of the night.
All right, Saga, you slowly start to build it up, which means you're going to be first up to look.
Oh, wonderful.
As
Do be careful!
you make little hand-shaped footholds and just slowly make your way up the 20-foot side of the rift. As you look, it's starting to get a bit dark, so it's not the easiest to see, but...
I can cast dancing lights around me.
Okay. You kind of peek your head up and cast dancing lights. What you see around you in this area, nothing like jumps out. It's not like, and then there's the polar bear.
Oh, hello.
Oh, and you just climb back.
Okay, bye.
Well, never mind.
As you look up, sadly or a relief, depending on your point of view, looks like more of the same. Not any more rifts, but just a continuation of this flat, snowy earth with an occasional tree.
It's not much up here. It's more of the same as everything else. I guess she climbs down and go ahead.
Much obliged, Saga. This will help us a great deal. If nothing else, make a handy quick escape in the middle of the night. Should we be set upon?
Does mold earth maintain, or does it go away?
I think it maintains because it's just I just mold the earth.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Like earth bending.
Oh, sorry. Changes last for an hour.
Okay, so in an hour, it'll
Yes.
push back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, Fen, would you care to have the honors, or shall I shimmy up?
I can take care of this. If those footholds go away, you and I have done this before. We can set up some sort of belaying system to help the others that are not as adept of climbers as we might be. And that's what Fen will do. Is he's going to set some pitons and run some rope through it so that when we're helping tour director row somebody who's out of their element, we can belay and help them climb.
I'll have you know that I'm a mountain dwarf. I've climbed many a mountain, my friend. There may be others that need help.
Master Caskmaster probably will be fine in this case.
I may jump on his shoulders, to be honest.
That would probably be the
Trusting him to
safest
get
place
me
to
there.
be.
While they're doing that, I suppose we can start getting these tents together. We have to eventually learn how to do this, and he smiles at Roshan.
Let us know if you need any help, boys.
I think we can handle it, or you can fix it when you come back.
That will probably be what happens.
Everybody who wants to help on the tents, give me a survival roll real fast.
And 11.
I knew it, Ro. You didn't let me down.
Roshan, you were taking notes last time. You're like, all right, I can do this. Ave seemed to be putting up a bit of a front, but he kind of feigns lead on this and is like, yes, this goes. And you'll kind of like nudge his hand there and you're like, But inevitably, you guys are able to get a rope up. You're able to set up tent. Ave casts bonfire, and you have a little fire to keep you warmer. And the sun is about to set. Is there anything anybody wanted to do before the sun sets?
Saga just wanted to do the same thing she did last time, is just kind of walk around the area and look for things and see if there's anything around that's interesting.
Okay, roll investigation.
To collect, possibly. 11.
As you're walking around, you kind of move your way back towards the vines.
Yep.
And you kind of look in, and you can't see the snow through them. So they're either very just tightly twisted or very deep. You're not sure.
Sorry. Your voice got really loud for a second there. I don't know about that.
My headphones.
Yeah.
I heard that.
The vines.
I was like, what's going on?
You're like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
I thought I had my hearing back. I was like, yeah, I can hear it. Yes, it's a miracle.
You see something shining in a mess of vines, about half a foot into the vines.
Oh, diving right in.
God damn it!
What? Can I get it out? Is it able to? Am I able to figure it?
Yeah,
Fine.
give me a sleight of hand.
Oh, okay. That's the right one. What is that? What? You see, that's a natural one again.
You stick your hand in, and as you can't see your hand anymore as it's kind of taken up that spot.
Yep.
So you're just kind of blindly reaching. Your hand feels something cold, like metal.
Okay.
And just because as you push through, it's a bit of a jerk of your hand, which taps it a bit too hard, and it like falls out of your reach.
Oh.
And you hear a tink, 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 and that fades into nothing.
Oh.
Oh.
Can I send one of my dancing lights into the little hole and see what I can see?
I was wondering if your dancing lights were still up.
Sure. What is the range of your dancing lights?
120 feet. No. As a bonus action, I can move them up to 60 feet to a new spot. The light must be within 20 feet of another light. Oh, so yeah, no, the range is like, up to 120.
As you send these lights down into the hole, after
they're like
that
little disco balls, by the way, like
little rainbow balls, plunge into the plants. You see that they can just keep going and going and going. You think that bracelet is long gone.
Oh. She comes back to the camp looking slightly defeated, sits down by the fire. If you have any like little things or trinkets, be careful around the vines. It seems like it just goes on and on and on, and if you drop anything in there, it's gone.
Like a cave.
Yeah, maybe. I saw something in there and tried to grab it, and then I fumbled it a bit, and it fell, and it sounded like it fell quite far. When I sent some light down there, and they just kept going to the point where I couldn't reach them anymore.
What did you drop in the... What did you drop?
I don't know. I was just reaching for something shiny. It's just in there. I saw it while we were setting up camp.
It didn't happen to be eyes belonging to an animal that wanted to eat your hand, did it?
Oh no, I never actually got to see it. I just kind of bumped it. It felt like metal though, so it's probably metal or
metal.
teeth.
That's a lucky thing.
Yeah.
We have not seen anything made by people since we entered the valley.
Oh.
Something made by something metal seems like an important find.
Oh.
You're not wrong.
Okay, cut a hole and send me down there. You can tie a rope around my waist and just lower me down, and I'll just keep an eye out.
Perhaps we should do that in the morning before we leave. No?
Just a few heads slowly shaking no.
Oh. I'm terribly sorry, Saga. Like next time, right?
It's so interesting.
Perhaps on our way back.
All right.
Not entirely opposed to exploring. It seems like it could be interesting or important. In the meantime, let us get some rest. We're all quite fatigued from our travels and our encounters. Yes, Nanna.
Before we actually bed down for the night, one thing that I wanted to do was take some time with my natural instincts as a ranger. I'm familiar with the kind of landscape that we are in. I would like to try to kind of gauge whether or not there's any kind of creatures that might be within range, especially any abominations that might be within range of 6 miles, since I'm in my favored terrain, using primeval awareness.
Okay. You sit down and start to concentrate on the world around you. So you are just aware if one of these creatures is within 6 miles.
Specifically, whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present within that radius.
As you sit there and just your energy and connection to the earth push out in all directions. And then it's kind of like a cat's whiskers, making sure you don't get stuck, checking for danger, and then plink, you can just feel something brush it. Yes, something is within 6 miles.
Let me see if it'll give me directions. No, it won't give me location or number.
No.
Okay.
But you feel something.
Just so that all of us are aware before we bed down for the night and before we select watch crews, it ought to be noted that there is something out of the ordinary within about 6 miles or so. I wish I could be more precise, but unfortunately, my talents only go so far.
Well,
I can tell you there's something within that range, though.
Let's hope it's maybe a corrupted bug. Could be anything.
You and I both know corrupted bugs wouldn't last this long.
Could have had one for a moment.
Perhaps.
Gorbjorn, I was wondering if I could talk to you for a moment.
Okay.
He goes over to you and he sort of leans you back over to the rift. I was wondering, since you are spearheading the sled, how are we going to get the sled up?
Just tied to me with rope, right?
I think that's doable. It might make it incredibly hard for you to climb.
I'll do.
We'll give it a shot then. And maybe some people spread out some of the weight, take a few of the bags. We'll see what we can do. All right. Thank you. Is there anything else anybody wanted to do before the sun sets?
Todrick will definitely pray and thank the goddesses for the miracles that he was able to do, and put in a word that more miracles may be needed in the future.
Okay, give me a religion check real fast.
Let's see. That would be 17.
Okay. You don't get that same hum and vibration from one of the wooden figures, but you feel that presence with you, that you're not walking alone.
Outstanding.
All right. Anybody else, anything to accomplish before there is no more sun?
I want to check the... Fen would like to see if the sap from those vines burns in the way that a pine tar might.
What are you applying it to?
The bonfire that I assume we have going.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying.
I just want to see if it's flammable, because it might be a useful resource if it is.
So you're taking the liquid and putting it
yes.
in, or are you taking like a chunk? Okay.
Yeah, there's
so
the liquid.
You take your little bit of liquid and you pour it onto the fire. It sparks and bubbles a bit and then starts to like dry and char up. It doesn't seem like that is it's not the best at it.
Okay.
It seems to quickly evaporate and just stick to the small chunks of charcoal that you guys are burning.
Did it do anything to me? When I left it on?
As you set it on your face and it dries and it kind of starts to chip off a bit, And if any of you glance over at Saga, her skin has been stained. It's kind of like henna. She has a bit of a, you don't know if it, like, if you just get some water, it'll wash off, but right now you have like henna stains on your skin.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you doing an impression of Fen there, Saga?
Racist.
What?
Fen has those markings on his face.
No. This is Lady Sada's symbol. These I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun. Did it come off?
It looks like the sap did, but the sap left behind a stain on the skin. It doesn't itch or hurt, does it?
No, it must have been Lady Sada just leaving her mark. Probably just wanted it to stick around.
Anybody who's looking at Saga, I'm pretty sure this is correct, but this is the symbol that she drew onto her face. My quick sketch.
Thank you for writing the artwork. Other than that, if it didn't do anything, she wants to just try a little bit.
Okay. You go over to the vines and just kind of casually dip a pinky in.
Yeah.
It's that kind of taste that like pulls your lips back. It's very like metal, very coppery in taste, with like a bit of bitterness from that you get from certain plants that you bite into, and it kind of coats your tongue a bit, so it lingers with you.
Oh no.
I'd like you to roll a con save.
Perfect.
I'm picturing her like a cat that's just like licked something and then like.
Yeah. That's exactly what just happened.
Like an IPA.
Oh. Hey, that's not too bad. 16.
Okay, there's a moment where you like begin to you like kind of
hairball
retch a little bit,
like
Real preparation.
But you will hold it together. It just doesn't taste good, at least raw.
Oh no.
She had wandered off again, walks back to the fire. I wouldn't taste it, at least not cooked. That sap, by the way.
Why did you taste it?
We said that if it didn't do anything to me, that I could try it. Didn't we all agree that would be fine?
It was a unanimous decision.
Everyone said it was.
Of course, everyone in the group agreed. We held votes. It was very
precious cinnamon roll.
It tastes like if you were to eat a sword, and then if the sword was covered in like mud, and if the mud was like rotten, it's just not good.
That sounds very unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't eat too many things that are out here in the Valley of Odin.
That might be a good idea. I mean,
you're welcome to, I suppose, observe further specimens in the area, but perhaps a slightly larger grain of salt on the next one, no?
I don't think salt would have helped. I probably would have just been even more pissed.
Well, you're probably right there. Talking of salt and salted berries, why don't you have one and take the worst of that off of your tongue, no?
What?
Nanna opens up her pouch that was given to her at the village and gives Saga a couple of the dried berries that were given to her.
I've never tried this before. Why would you add salt to something so sweet?
Largely to preserve it so that you can carry it with you on long journeys.
You can see they almost they're starting to become more like raisins in a sense. Mm-hmm. They look not the most appetizing, but definitely a different flavor.
They're not juicy, but they're good for a chew.
She pulls the little jar of half, like barely halfway. There's like just a little bit of the honey in the jar. She puts a little bit on each of them and tries.
Yeah. Very, salty sweet. It's a good treat compared to what you just tried.
Does it make the aftertaste go away?
Yeah, I would say that after kind of moving it, like you kind of almost are like scraping your tongue with the berry a little bit. Eventually it does kind of leave your mouth and it's just the taste of salt, which is better.
Yeah.
I would like to know who is taking our first watch.
I will.
I'll go with Finn.
I also, I appreciate it. Nobody woke me for a watch last night, so I will happily take one this night.
Oh, I would too.
Sure.
Saga and I will take the second watch then. Does
Will
that
be
sound
fine.
good?
Certainly, if you insist.
I do.
Well, all right
Yeah.
then. Just so long as you can still read the map in the morning,
It's,
such as it is.
I will do my best. And he goes into the tent.
Bless him.
All right.
I will take third watch.
Okay. Is anybody else on team third watch?
I'll assist Tordrick.
All right. Okay. I need somebody who is taking the first watch to roll me a d12, please.
Eight.
Okay. You sit near the fire occasionally. I'm sure you take walks a little bit further out, closer to the line where the fire ends, just to keep a close eye out on the surroundings. Give me perception checks, Nanna disadvantage.
Disadvantage perception. Okay. All right, my lesser roll is 12.
Only got 11.
Okay. You all take a look around. Nothing catches your attention. The only thing is the snap of your fire. And where you are is kind of a wind trap. So it's like as wind blows through the rift. Quite loud at times. But besides that, nothing else stands out to you. All right. Second watch. Ave is woken up. So is Saga. They both come out. Thank you very much. We will take it over from here.
The wind's awfully loud. If you're going to be listening out for anything coming up around the camp, you may need to factor that in.
Of course. We'll do what we can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Saga, will you roll me a d12, please?
Sure. 11.
11?
Yep.
Okay. As you both sit there, kind of quietly, you can hear the wind, and it is just, at some points, like it hits so shrill, it kind of just hits a nerve in the ear a bit. Just whatever it is just whipping through just is, the decibels on it sometimes are just unnerving, because you're so close to it. It's like you're in the wind tunnel.
Yeah. Saga's been just laying on her stomach looking at the fire and doing little minor illusions in the fire the whole time. And looking around every minute or so.
Ave tries not to be distracted by that, but of course he is just 100% watching that. Give me a perception check, disadvantage.
Okay. Oh, fuck. Natural 20 and a 14.
Okay.
Wait, the 14 is plus, it's a 19.
Okay. I mean, you're not distracted, you're just passing the time. And it goes by pretty quickly, pretty uneventfully, but occasionally in the wind, it's just and you just, for a moment, a split second, whoa, and it just fades into the wind. Ave does not seem to notice.
And it just doesn't continue? It's just the two?
Yeah, just two.
Ave, did you hear something?
Besides the wind and the fire?
Yeah, I heard like maybe it was a hello, but it was like, oh, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I'll try to keep a better ear out.
Saga stands up and kind of does a little like walk around the camp, looking around.
As you're walking, you're just kind of keeping an eye out. You can't see too far past where the fire ends with your lack of dark vision, but there's a point where you kind of walk by the rift, and you can see some of the vines, the smaller ones, shuffle with the wind, so they get pushed a bit when the wind hits hard. And you hear, oh, oh, as you get closer to the rift, and then nothing.
Walk back to Ave. I definitely hear something. Sounds like it might be coming from the vines. Do you want to get the rope and lower me down? You think you could probably lift?
I will say,
yeah.
I am not the smartest man I know. Not by a long shot. But I feel like this will get both of us killed, even if nothing's there. We'll just both fall in.
Oh, Ave with the wisdom save.
What would happen if I was holding the rope for you and then we both fell in?
Oh, okay. I guess we might need a few more people. Maybe just have to do that one in the morning. Yes, but I think something is coming from the caves down there or something. It's the noise. It's almost like maybe it's Lady Satyr calling out to say hello. She hasn't spoken to me in a while, but
perhaps. I suppose we need to decide if it's something worth investigating or leaving behind. I cannot say which is the better option, but we'll leave it to a vote in the morning.
Yes. All right. Just basically the entire rest of the watch, she's just guessing at things that could be down there. Like, maybe there's just a bunch of little Smurf families, and they were yelling because they caught the necklace that I dropped, or maybe it's a whole bunch of wind elementals, and they're having a little party. And it's just talking.
And Ave occasionally, yes, yeah. And will nod and agree with you. Possibly, perhaps, a lot of that.
Yeah.
Eventually, your watch passes, and now it is time for the third watch.
Ro will wake up and pour himself a little cup of tea and put a couple sprinkles of herbs in it and warm it over the bonfire.
All right. As Roshan and Tordrek come out for their watch, Ave kind of stopped for a moment. Saga said she heard a sound. Just be aware, we haven't seen anything, but she heard a strange sound.
My final suggestion was that it might be just some ghosts down there, but I'm not sure. It sounds like it was coming from the vines. I just keep an ear out, I guess.
All right.
Right.
So Fen hears this but doesn't believe anything that Saga says, so he's just sitting by the fire drinking his tea after his rest.
After you meditate for a few hours, you are right as rain and can join in for the third watch. I would like somebody from third watch to give me a D12 roll, please.
Got it. 4.
Okay. And then if you're looking around, give me perception checks. If you do not have dark vision, disadvantage. But I think all of you do. I'm not positive.
Yeah. I got a 16.
Tordrick doesn't want to see anything, so he's looking, but he's looking like he's looking, but he's really not, for fear of seeing something, because the ghost thing just freaks him out. So he didn't see, he rolled the 9.
Yeah, every time you glance around, you kind of like, as you turn at Dirk, you close your eyes. You're like, okay, like
exactly.
real quick.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah, Fen only got an 8, so his dark vision's a little thrown off by looking into the fire. So,
Roshan, what'd you say you got?
16.
As you are sitting there, it is incredibly faint, and you can't pinpoint it. But once you hear, oh.
That will like immediately like drain the blood from his face, and he just freezes and like listens for it to come back, but keeps his mouth shut about it.
Okay. If I ignore it, it's half the team is very like, if I don't see it or hear it, it can't hurt me right now, and that's what we're going with.
Yep.
You all finish up the last shift as the sun begins to rise, and it warms ever so slightly. All of you wake up the next day fully rested, so you've had a long rest now. Long rest. Yes, please. Okay. You wake up. The wind is not as loud and howling as it was, and it's just the soft sound of wind blowing by. Yeah, the sun is up. Everyone else is up. Has a quick bite to eat. Is there anything anybody would like to do?
I would like to cut breakfast as short as we can and just move out of the area.
You seem a little on edge, Ro. See anything unusual last night?
Do I?
Do rather.
Sweating, pale.
What makes you say that?
No, nothing. Everything's good.
You don't want to investigate the cave ghosts?
No.
No?
What cave ghosts? What did I miss?
I'm pretty sure there's cave ghosts in the vines.
In the vines?
Mm-hmm. I could hear them in the night. They were making noises, calling to me.
I'm astounded you were able to hear anything over that wind. It was ghastly.
Yes, it was definitely like a hello or a hey yo, something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Fen, you were up before I was. Did you catch any of it?
I heard nothing but wind.
Ro, Tordrick, you didn't hear anything?
Tordrick, unmute.
I didn't see anything or hear anything. Nothing. It was actually rather pleasant.
Insight him.
You're welcome to roll insight. I will not have you roll
Nat 20.
Yeah.
I see right through you.
He's shaking like this. Yeah, it's great.
He seems pretty on edge.
His ale is just...
Yeah, just spluttering right up out of his...
He's got the ale already put away. He's like pushing the cart. Let's go.
Oh,
yeah, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, he's ready to roll. Absolutely.
Aha. Ove, what's this about cave ghosts?
I did not hear said cave ghosts, but I also agree maybe we should check on the cave ghosts later and not now in case they aren't pleasant cave ghosts.
You certainly
just judging off of current experience.
Yes. Heaven forbid it winds up being... I don't even want to imagine what might be hiding down inside of a cave overgrown by vines in the middle of the Valley of Odin.
I think that's a great idea, and we should probably get moving now.
Roshan, come back on the return journey, shall we? Saga, we'll
Good idea.
return. We'll return on the way back. We'll investigate then. We do have a long way to go yet.
I just hope they hold on to my necklace.
I hope they do as well.
Finn would be very enthusiastic about killing any sort of cave ghost. However, he believes Ro and Tordrick when they say they didn't hear anything, and he does not think that Saga is right about anything. So
he's like, not a single cave ghost.
All in favor of moving on.
Based on resources you have, dozens. Yeah.
Right, Ave has started taking some boxes and bags off of the sled and has begun trying to help tie the sled itself to Gorbjorn.
We have plenty of rope. Can't we just lift the sled from the top?
He really wanted to wear it.
Well, you can't blame him. It's not like he has an opportunity to do this every day at the village.
That's very true. I think it looks great. Maybe we could perhaps make a bit of a lift for the boxes. That might be a bit easier.
Yes.
Instead of the whole sled. But I'm sure some of us can carry some of these bags. And he picks up one of the ration bags. And I mean, it's about 30 pounds on its own. He's like, all right.
You're right there.
Of course, we'll see how it goes.
Just keep in mind, you still have to carry your wife over the threshold of your home, so this is good training for you, yes?
I hope I do not have to continuously do that, but...
Well, I mean, depends on exactly how badly you've behaved any given day, is my understanding.
I suppose, depending on my behavior, I'm going to have a terrible back. Let us get up the cliff.
I think this trip alone is going to set you back an awful lot.
No, she's terribly upset with me, but she and the baby are set no matter what happens. Officially part of the family.
That is true.
Now let's climb this, shall we? He looks up at the 20-foot rift. How are we getting up?
Saga, could you do that again? The steps you made.
Yes.
We do have the ropes in place if Saga wanted to use that as a guide as she was placing the...
Mm-hmm. I will need to go first, and I can't carry anything. But I think I can handle this. I forgot to mention, I don't really want to mention it, but I forgot to mention that the spell can only hold 2 instances of itself up at once, so which means you only get 1 handhold and 1 foothold, and that's it.
I suppose it's better than none.
So
All right.
everyone will have to be really close behind.
Well, that's why we ran the ropes.
Yes.
What's everyone wearing right now? Does anyone have a buckle on there? Does everyone or anyone have a buckle on the front of their clothing somewhere that strong enough to be load bearing?
Well, I would figure if Nanna's got her spears on her back, she must have some kind of harness that holds them there. So probably that is at least load bearing enough to hold weaponry.
All right, so.
Yeah. I don't know if we have much for people weight besides the pittance.
Yeah, I just want to run nobody in this world would know what an Italian hitch is because Italy doesn't exist, but run a hitch through the front of Nanna's gear holster or whatever she has. Pull the slack out of this. As you take it through, if you feel you're going to fall, shout out, and I'll be ready to catch you on the other side, and just keep pulling the slack through this as you climb.
All right. Doable.
Right.
Everyone watch what Nanna does here, and I'll be at the bottom holding the belaying end of the rope, so if she falls, I'll be able to catch that slack.
Oh, yes, no pressure.
Okay, so first Saga has to go up.
Yes, and I can create anything that can go within a 5-foot cube, which means since I can do 2 instances, it can be a 10-foot amount of handholds. So as long as we're all 10 feet apart, we can have a full ladder. going upwards that I'll create with the spell.
Well, it's only 20 foot tall, right?
Yeah, it's just 20 feet.
Yeah. So just we'll go halfway and then make sure everyone kind of squunches together on the 5 foot, and then I'll create the next one and move up as we go.
And these make like 5 foot sections?
Yeah, so in a 5 foot section, I'll make little like ladder, like either indents or out, whichever one is easier.
Okay. So I'm going to have everybody roll athletics. I need 2 people who can hold a bag, 1 person that can hold a box, and Gorbjorn has our sled. So if you have one of the bags, one of the boxes, or the sled, you have disadvantage on this.
Will you take acrobatics?
I want athletics, and if there's a catch yourself moment, I would let you use acrobatics. Okay, so who's taking what, if anybody's taking anything? Ave is going to take one of the bags.
I'll take a box.
Tordric will use a or take a bag too, if there's 2 bags or box,
yes.
Whatever's needed. Yeah.
Okay. I think that is what I said, and that shall work for me. So everybody who picked up a thing, disadvantage on athletics. Everybody else, straight athletics roll.
Got a 10.
Oh, man.
I don't suppose I get anything from... No, I guess not. It's a 7.
My disadvantage will turn my natural 20 into a 10.
Okay, so Nanna, you got a 7. Fen, 10. Tordric, what do you have?
9.
Oh.
Saga?
5.
Oh, boy!
Roshan?
10.
Gorbjorn?
11.
Okay.
Oh, everyone.
It is an incredible struggle as all of you go up trying to make holds, trying to stick together, having things in your arms. There are moments it's just incredibly shaky. And Saga, being at the top, as you kind of lean back and you kind of move the old step to make a new, there's a moment where as you're pulling it out, it pushes your arm and you begin to fall.
Yeah. Can I... Oh, okay. Do I fall backwards or can I kind of... Can I...
Nanna below her? Can she help to...
I want to like push my body forwards using acrobatics and push like the full part of the wall inwards because it can be 5 feet, so I can have like an inner area to fall into.
Okay, because right now you're going to be falling backwards. So I will let you use acrobatics.
Yeah.
But
to like pull myself forward or pull my body forward.
But I'm going to give you disadvantage just because the step has pushed you. So it is it's a bit of a shove.
Could I help her? Bro?
I will, as I see her struggling, say, "Oh no, please don't fall," and give you some inspiration.
Hey!
So you can add a
right.
D6.
Okay,
Just
so
'cause
you have disadvantage. I will accept the inspiration. Even though I don't believe it's a reaction, but I'll take it for right now. It's
sure.
fine.
Yep.
Easy enough. But that is what I'm going to take. Yeah, you get a D6 and you can do acrobatics if you want, but disadvantage.
If I do athletics, do I not get disadvantage?
No, you're going to get disadvantage either way.
Okay, okay. Then then acrobatics.
Yeah, whichever you want, disadvantage.
Okay, so that's a 11, 13. All with everything, a 13.
Okay, so you start to fall backwards, which in this situation isn't the worst because you have a bunch of people behind you. And as you start to go, people get hands on you. Tordric and Roshan, can you remind me of your numbers?
10.
9.
Nanna, and what was yours again?
Mine was a 7.
Based on the situation, there is a moment where all of you sort of, as you go to catch Saga, Fen also going into a bit of a oh no sort of position.
Oh no.
Which during this, Nanna, there's a bit of a bump from the group. You fall off and you begin to plummet. You're not very high, but you're about 10 feet up.
All right.
So the rope kind of slips through as you start to fall. You hit the vines and go straight through them.
Oh no. Can I?
You fall 60 feet.
Can I do something?
Do you have a reaction?
No, it's an action.
Okay, no. Nanna, you fall straight through and you smack into something hard.
Ah!
One moment.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Guess we gotta go in the vines again.
Yeah, I guess we do.
No.
So much for the vote.
Nanna, you take 22 points of falling damage as you hit down hard on a ledge. The wind knocked out of you and you hear a loud crack sound. You broke something. Something is definitely broken. And as you look up, you can see a bit of the sun shining through the vines, especially where your body fell through. And you hear, oh, I'm so cold. And that
Kate
is where we are going to take our 10-minute break. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Please come back if you want to hear the rest of the story, but we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. Let's get right back into things. As you were all trying to climb up the edge of this rift, a lot of people trying to move at once, stick close together, move a bunch of items. Footing was lost. People were nudged. And Nanna fell through the vines and disappeared into darkness. As she falls through the darkness, she heard that sound, that voice whispering into her ear after like the loud, like the hit and then the crack of something. Nanna, you think your leg is broken.
Shit.
And you just hear softly, just like, I am so cold. Oh, and you hear the shuffle of rock below you. Do you look over the edge of the little you've caught on like a little outcropping of rock is where you've landed.
All right.
So like one of your legs is kind of hanging over the side, the one you assume is broken.
Yeah.
Would you like to look over the edge from where the voice is coming from?
Sure. Might as well face my death head on.
As you can hear commotion above as the group starts to figure out a way to get to you, you hear that voice, oh, cold. And you crane your neck to look over the side. And you just see far below you, it's pretty small looking, but there's just a white face. Pale white, off in the darkness. And as your eyes somewhat adjust to the light, as you try your best to look at it, you see a shift and a movement. And it looks like almost like water around it and the sound of shuffling feet. Who knows how many things are below you? Keep me warm. And you hear crunch. And it sounds like something stabbing into stone, and the face begins to rise as another hit, and then a hit as the head.
My leg is broken, and I need help, please.
You hear Nanna yell from the rift.
Finn hears this. He has shrugged off that box he was carrying and zipped down to ground level. Now he's got another rope. He's tying double barrel knots to tie these ropes down together. I can see she's 60 feet down into this darkness.
She is 60 feet down.
Okay, so I can see her with my dark vision.
Yes, yours is 90 feet, right?
There are ghosts! They are coming! Please!
Yeah. Yeah, so
Told
I'm
you.
gonna throw this rope down, and I'm zipping down to her. And whatever ledge she's on, I want to be on that same ledge.
Okay, you start to do that. What is everybody else doing?
Climbing down as quickly as possible.
Sure. All of you make your way as quick as you can off of the ledge. You can see the opening where Nanna fell in, but the rest of you can't really see her. You watch as Fen is tying this rope. What are you tying this rope off to, or are you asking?
The rope that's already hanging there, the one that goes.
Oh, so you're doubling
I'm tying one to the other. So the one's attached to the wall with pitons. I'm tying a barrel knot in the end of that one, and then tying another barrel knot into the one that I'm attaching to it.
Okay. You all watch as Fen begins to tie the rope together. Is there any action anybody would like to take beforehand?
Take the sled off my back.
Yeah,
might help.
Can I get down to the edge of where she fell and look in and try to spot her?
Roll perception with, what is the range of your dark vision?
60 feet.
Okay, give me a perception roll. I'll give you advantage just because you have an idea of where she probably fell to.
Good, because the first one was a 1, but it's an 18 with advantage.
Okay, you look in and you can see Nanna laying on this rock, this kind of jagged piece that stuck out from the wall, just on the edge of your vision. You can see that her leg is at a strange angle and she is desperately calling for help, and you can hear the sound of crunching stone below.
Do I have enough time to cast a spell?
Yes, I would say that you have enough time while Fen is tying ropes.
I would shout down, Nanna, I hope you're okay, and send down a healing word, and you get 4 hit points.
I've been better, but thank you.
It's going to take it a second, but your bone is trying to now heal. As it just kind of like that snap of it, like trying to reset itself. And you just hear the cold, cold, and the hit of rock. Fen, you've just finished your rope and you are heading down.
It's getting closer.
Yeah, I'm going to slide down this rope to the same ledge that she's on.
Okay, so yeah, there's plenty of rope left over with 250 feet ropes. You make your way down as quickly as you can. Roshan, you kind of have leant down and you reach a hand towards her to heal her, give her some sort of advantage to have just having fallen 60 feet. He goes down and the rest of you stand above, watching the rope, watching as he disappears into darkness, at least for Ave and Saga.
Have I reached her yet?
Yes, you have just landed where she is, and you can hear that crunch of stone and that cold, cold.
And you didn't believe in the cave ghosts.
Nanna, get your weapons ready. And I set my hand on her shoulder, or can I see where she's injured?
You can see that the leg definitely looks kind of wrong.
Okay, so I'm going to lay my hand on her leg, and Nanna's can smell the smell of like vegetation, like fresh cut grass in her nostrils. And, she's got this laceration on her leg, and little ethereal tendrils of vine come out of her skin and kind of suture that wound closed as I cast Cure Wounds on her.
Okay.
And she will receive 7 points of healing.
Okay. Roshan sent down energy that begins to heal her leg. You take a hands-on and add to that. The leg snaps back into place and is going to be hard to walk on for a hot second, but is healing. You turn your head to the side as you're trying to now get up and leave with Fen, grabbing for a weapon as best you can. And you can see stabbing into the wall of the stone, just completely obliterating it. You see something that looks akin to the vines above. And then you hear another crunch, and you can see that the face is about 30-ish feet away from you. Hold, and you can see that it's moving at odd angles as if it were moving with the agility of a vine, as if it is almost a mask stuck onto it, moving and just stabbing into the wall as it makes its way upwards towards you.
You had better climb faster than you ever have in your life.
I'm just gonna try with Mold Earth as much as I can to help out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and take this rope that I came down on. I'm gonna stand with Nanna's back to my front, and kind of run this under our arms and tie it off again. So we've got like a harness that we're both kind of hanging in, and shout out, pull us up.
Before we go, I do want to throw down a snare on the ground where I was. Casting snare, it'll use a rope to create a 5-foot radius on the ground. It's nearly invisible. It'll require an investigation check to be discerned. When a creature steps into it, they have to succeed on a dex saving throw, or else they'll be magically hoisted into the air.
With you.
I don't know. Maybe just like in midair around like that ledge. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. I just want to slow it down so it doesn't come at us.
All right. Yes, Saga?
I think to my way of trying to help, I'm going to create that 5-foot cube. I'm going to create it surrounding them so they're within the 5-foot cube, and the bottom of the cube is underneath them. But I can't do that until they get 30 feet up. So when they're 30 feet up, there's going to be like a cube that's moving with them upwards, and it's like a little elevator, hopefully.
Hey!
Okay. So this is going to decide speed.
Right. Do I have time to cast Zephyr Strike?
Is that a bonus action?
It is a bonus action.
Okay. I will allow you to do a bonus action. That is fine.
Okay, so I cast Zephyr Strike, which will... you move like the wind until the spell ends. Your movement does not provoke opportunity attacks once the spell ends. Okay, so it's one bonus action, range is self. I increased my movement speed by 30 feet. So it's a walking speed, but however you want to apply that to climbing speed.
Okay. I was going to give you a disadvantage for having Nanna in tow, but because of this, I will take that away. And I will also take acrobatics. The team as a group is helping to try and pull this rope. Saga's focusing on trying to get a rock footing under them once they're close enough. Whoever is taking lead on pulling the rope, you can have advantage because you'll probably have assistance from your team, one would hope. The team's like, they got it.
They're fine.
Who wants to take lead on pulling the rope?
I will.
Okay.
Big strong boy.
Athletics with advantage.
Oh, thank God. 13.
Okay.
Oh, that was a 1. Oh, dice jail. Everything's going in dice jail today.
Everything. All the dice.
And Fen, would you give me acrobatics?
Yeah, so I've cast Zephyr Strike. My adrenaline is going. That is a 24.
Okay. You start to just it's pure adrenaline and magic as you focus on pulling yourself up, the rope being heaved forward. Saga, you wait till they're about halfway up. As you all start to hear now the crack of stone as something stabs into it. And you can see, Nanna, as you glance down as you're being pulled away, trying to keep an eye on this thing. You see where you placed your snare. One of these huge vine appendages smashes directly into the rock, destroying most of it where you were. And you watch as one of the vines kind of like twists in on itself and kind of like gets pinned into a spot. And then rips itself free.
Oh, boy.
As another one on the opposite side makes its way up, and it starts to move in on you, and Saga brings up the rock wall, molding it in the way, and it smashes through that, missing you, as you both begin to try and climb as fast as you can as the thing climbs, chasing you, and you just hear, besides like the loud crack of stone, the shuffling of feet, just so many feet, as this white face lifts higher and higher, spiraling upwards. Stay.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not.
As you all pull forward, okay. As you pull up, there's that last moment where you just like, you see the light and you're up and you watch as one of the vines stabs right next to you, Nanna, and like pulls itself free, and like a spray of rock kind of like hits you both in the face a bit, but you pull yourselves up, but you continue to hear that sound as the face moves closer through the rift.
Right. Immediately when they're up, Saga's closing it with some mold earth. It's only an hour, but like a light thing of earth materializes. No.
So you, the second they fall back in, you cover it up as quickly as you can, and you hear crunch, crunch, crunch against it. Once you, the second you put it up, and you watch as a vine, very hesitantly, the very tip of a vine goes around the outside, and another small vine, and then there's just a flash of that white face that is visible in the sun. It almost looks like a doll's mask, except it's like bleached bone, and follows the mimicry of a human's face, but is just down to nothing. And the second it hits the light, it's just a shrill scream, and you watch as the head snaps from side to side, and the vines push it back below the second a hit of sun touches it. And you just, there's no more crack of stone, but just sad wailing below you.
Did you perhaps just see Saga's jewelry while you were down there?
Nanna turns her spear the other way up and goes to smack Ro on the head. She's still flat out on the ground. Who knows if she can hit him at all? But like, that's the intent.
Yeah, you kind
maybe
of
smack him in the ankle.
You take a swing at him. I'll let you do an attack with disadvantage because you're prone.
Valid.
And acting out
of anger.
Usually that gives me advantage.
Yeah, that's 6 to hit. I'm guessing that does not work.
He's just fully out of range. It's
yeah,
like
okay.
you just take a swing at him. Your adrenaline like just pumping through your body, and slowly starting now to come down. But it just sounds like almost an animal in the tall grass. You just watch as like there's a shuffle of vine and a shuffle of vine, but it does not come up. Almost like you're being circled by a shark.
We should leave. We should leave right now.
Torge is going to heal Nanna with healing word.
All right.
For 6.
Ave comes over and he grabs your arm. I'm going to pull you up. I hope you are no longer incredibly broken. And
I hope not too.
Am
I incredibly broken?
It's not good, but you are able to stand. You just know that if you had to like dash or do something akin to that, you would not be able to go as fast.
I'm gonna lean on my spear as a walking stick. I've done this before.
You watch as Ave kind of goes over to the rift and is just watching.
What is it?
I I'm not sure. I've never seen one in person. Could only be speculation then. It could be a corrupted person.
It spoke the common tongue.
It was made of nothing but vines. I could only see vines. And that face.
We need to find a way to get up. Even if it's slower, we need to get up safely. One at a time if necessary, 2 at a time, 10 ropes, whatever we need.
I can create the that platform that we can move up. We can all stand on the platform, and it'll be slow, but I think I could carry us upwards.
All of us at once.
It's 5 feet, so I mean I could probably do us in shifts. The 5-foot platform, and then we'll do maybe 2 at a time.
How long can you do that for?
An hour. I think we can get everybody up in an hour.
All right. Let's just go.
It seemed the sunlight scared it off. We need to move on before the sun sets again. Saga, I'm sorry I didn't believe you.
It's okay. It was my prediction wasn't right. It wasn't cave ghosts, but cave vines.
Possessed cave vines. Suppose it's the worst of both worlds, eh?
Yeah, I thought that Lady Satyr was giving me a sign to go in there, but it must have been a sign to stay away. I misinterpreted it a bit.
Miscommunications happen.
Of course. Yeah. As you all now taking very small baby steps, small groups, ropes, very heavy precaution.
Tordrick, not to interrupt, but Tordrick, he suggests that the dwarves, what they would do is the 2 strongest dwarves would go to the top, and then they would help pull up the rope to make it easy for the others to come up.
Mm.
Okay.
And you can
go first with Saga.
Mm. Maybe Gorbjorn should go up along with him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We still have all of our equipment to bring up as well.
Hop on my.
I think we can tie the equipment to a rope and just drag that up.
Yep, that's what Tordrick says the dwarves would do. They tie part of the rope around all the stuff on the sled and just pull the sled up.
I think the platform mostly just it helps push anything up that's moving upwards, and it's there as a thing to catch us in case we actually do fall now, which should have thought of earlier, but now we're learning. It's the point of the journey.
It's the learnings you get along the way.
Better late than never.
I will say no roll necessary with how many precautions are now being taken, learning from past mistakes, moving in small groups, sending the stronger group up first to help lug things up and keep track of ropes for others. It takes a good bit longer, under an hour, but not too much shorter than that. I'll say, how quickly are you able to cast Mold Earth? Is that a cantrip?
Yeah, it's an action.
Okay. I'm going to say a solid 30-ish minutes to slowly get everyone up very safely, as you mold pieces out after you move up, having something below you for safety. As you all watch the kind of rise and bump of vines below you, an ever-present threat that it has not left. And as you all make your way up, Nanna, you take one last look down, and you can just see, pressed near the vines, oh, cold, come back. And the voice cracks, and you watch as the mask slips back into darkness.
Sorry we couldn't be more help, but I think you're beyond it.
All right.
So, Nanna, which butt did you break? Left one or right one?
Feels like all of them. Left one mostly, though.
Well, you seem to be walking, so are you able to make pace today?
I'll do what I can. I'll keep up.
I will say it'll slow the group for a bit, because even though healing magic was used, like a femur break, a bit of a struggle to heal. So it is not, you can walk, but your pace is definitely slowed.
Does leaning on my spear as a walking stick help ameliorate that at all, or is it?
It doesn't, but it makes you feel a little better.
All right, cool.
You all begin to leave the ridge behind, and whatever was living inside of it, however many things were living inside of it. The rest of the day, not half bad comparatively.
I'd say.
Just a walk in the park. A cakewalk.
It's just, compared to that, it is more of the same. A bit slower. You guys go as far as you can, making your way through the valley. By the night, your leg, after you guys get to the next instance that you make camp, your leg is in a much better place now that you're able to put it up, and you know you will be back to normal in the morning. Ave kind of rests a hand on your shoulder. A fun story to tell later. You can embellish it that you jumped in.
Oh, yes. Honestly, I was already planning ahead. I think I might add another 3 of those horrific doll-faced things. And what do you think about a hellhound?
Maybe go for 3.
Yes, I like the way you think.
I try my best. We are about to do a bit of a time jump. And if there are things you'd like to do during that time, you're welcome to, and we can get those out of the way real quick. We are about to jump through 4 days.
Ooh.
4 days of just walking in this place where you are not confronted. You are just dealing with the cold and the trip. But nothing makes its way to you.
Are we going to subtract rations from our own, or are they coming out of the group?
I would keep track of your own. Easy enough to do. Also at like the end of session, if we want to check in. But yes, you will take a ration for each day.
That first night, Ro would offer Nanna some tea to help her sleep.
It might be nice, actually.
I think you can take a night off of watch, and this will help you sleep.
That's a lot of nonsense. I've done watch far worse off than this before.
Okay, fuck me, I guess. I'll just...
Ro, you know that Nanna is... Ro should know that Nanna is the type to absolutely say this bullshit. Even if her leg was off, she would be saying this.
He does know, and that's why he turns around and goes into the tent and makes the tea and then brings it back to you. And I put 2 doses in, so it's a sedative this time.
Okay. Even with your complaints, you are handed the tea anyways.
Oh, fine. You made it already. I might as well drink it.
Has Sven been able to find about 6 stones by this point?
Go ahead and, give me 4 either survival or investigation checks, and I'll get back with you in just a moment.
Okay. 4 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 for each day.
One of them's a natural 20, so...
Oh, well, there you go.
All right.
Yes, Nanna?
I wanted to know if I could map the thing that we saw in the cave to any kind of abomination I've heard about, could I apply maybe my favored enemy to perhaps intelligence to see whether or not it tracks with any stories I've heard about abominations?
Yeah, as you sip your tea and realize instantly, oh, staying awake probably isn't an option now. As your muscles relax and the pain subsides a good bit as a bit of euphoria kicks in and you become very tired. As you lay there thinking about what could that have possibly been, I will give you intelligence and I'll give you advantage.
That is good because it says I would have advantage on that. Hooray! Let's see. My better is 16.
All right. As you try to kind of keep yourself awake, just to kind of finish your thought, as you begin to close your eyes and you just see that face in your eyelids, you know, it's just there. There is a moment where you remember, I tested to see if something was nearby. Hopefully it was that. You've never seen anything like that. Everyone's heard story of corrupted people, but nobody really has seen them. You don't see a lot of that just walking around town.
Would it be conceivable, like, given we've seen a boar that has been much more corrupted than anything else we would have seen, does it seem like you could maybe like imagine like that boar another like few years on into its corruption, maybe decades even, and it might look like that?
You know, that corruption a lot of times combines flesh and nature. So it is a possibility that was a corrupted being you saw. A very high possibility.
Pleasant dreams!
All right, good night, me. Fen, yeah, throughout the 4 days, easy enough to find a few rocks. I am going to say that with this downtime, with that nat 20, let's go with that we can make, you're trying to make bolas or bola?
Yes, bolas. Two of them, hopefully, but...
Oh, yeah, with your nat 20, easy enough over the next 4 days to gather rocks as you walk, and then while you're on watch, start to put them together. So you have to.
As we're walking these 4 days, is the snow getting deeper? Or is it still that 3 inches or so of crunchy, snow that we've experienced so far?
About the second day into this 4-day jump, it does start to get deeper, but it does not hinder your movement yet.
Okay.
But it is starting to get deeper, and it's starting to get colder.
Have we seen any sort of actual living vegetation along our way, or is it all this chalky, charcoaly, dead trees?
It is charcoaly trees. The most alive thing you saw was those vines, which may not have been for the best.
Okay.
Saga, put that in her mouth!
I mean, it didn't taste good. Tasted just about as evil as it was.
So one thing that as we progress, Fen is very deliberately trying to consolidate our gear down so that the first thing we empty is one of these wooden crates.
Okay.
One of the boxes. I want one of them empty as soon as we can.
Okay. You begin to try to consolidate, doing your best to whittle it down. Most of the things inside of the boxes pertain to gear for climbing and navigating in ice and snow. Yeah. So a bit harder to condense, but over time you do your best. If you're like, okay, we use this much, maybe I can move something to a bag or something out and I can carry it. So you start to work on that.
What I want to get to is over the course of our travels, while we have downtime, while we're resting for the night, taking guard duty, Ben wants to start trying to use some of the cordage that he has and planks that make these boxes to try and start making some sort of snowshoe for the people in the group, so that whoever's struggling the most with staying on top of this snow as it gets deeper and deeper, hopefully we can start implementing having snowshoes, so we're not, so somebody like Tordrick's not up to his waist, a week from now.
Yeah, true.
So that is a project you can start on, but you would have to choose between that and the other thing.
Okay.
Or at least like that and maybe one pair of shoes, because that 20 was nice. So
yeah, I just starting on it. Maybe if we can get one pair of shoes done, I don't think we'll all need them at the same time. Some of us are going to be better suited to the wilderness. Some of us will have a harder time. So, if I could finish the bolas and then start on the snowshoes, that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I'll say one pair of shoes.
Okay. I don't think anybody needs them at this point. We'll just add them to the collection of what we've got.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody wants to do during the 4-day walk?
Tordrick will pray every day.
Good.
Absolutely.
Somebody should.
Yeah. If not the whole day.
The whole walk.
Exactly.
Sounds about right. I think daily, Nanna is also going to be using her primeval awareness, stretching her senses out into the wilderness. If not more than once a day, then definitely at least each night when they go to camp, just to try and stay abreast of how many, well, if nothing else, whether or not we've got something immediately on our tail to worry about.
On the first night, you don't really have the chance, so because of your drugs, your drug usage. But the next 3 nights,
I was enabled by the bard.
That's
the next 3 nights. You feel something every night. Something is always within 6 miles of you.
Cool.
Nothing has advanced, but there's always something.
So how are those prayers going?
Anybody else?
Throughout, Saga's going to start a new project. Throughout the walk, she's got she decides to pull out her mason's tools, which she has for some reason, and she's going to start carving little Lady Satyr symbols for everybody, and using a needle that she has in her pack and some of the bottom hem of her dress that's kind of ripped up anyway. So she's going to start making necklaces of Lady Satyr symbols for each person. And then also she's looking around. I want to try to collect some twigs. How many can I find?
Okay, if you're looking for some twigs, it's a lot of those weird chalky kind of situations, but the trees do make something akin to twigs. Give me first a roll with your proficiency bonus plus dexterity.
For the mason's tools?
Yes. Okay. Because this seems like a small crafty project.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Want some help?
Yeah.
I would
7.
I would be willing to say that, Nanna, if you saw her struggling, maybe you give a hand. I'm not
there's like 3 broken ones that are just like the X's. I'm trying to carve out the middle and I break it every time.
Oh.
Sure. Yeah, Nanna gives you a little bit of encouragement. I'll let you roll one more time.
Thank you. It's better. So 11, 12, 13, 15.
Okay. I would say it takes you the 4 days, but you are able to make everybody twig string necklaces.
Yay.
Perfect. The twigs don't actually go for the necklaces. They're for a different thing. That I'm going to. That I feel a little bit worse for now that I've gotten some help from Nanna for the other thing, because I'm gonna play a little practical joke. Yeah. Okay, since Nanna and Fen always go on their watches like together often, right? So one of the days when they're on watch, I'm taking all those twigs and I'm putting them like around in my hair and stuff so they come out like this, and then I have an alabaster mask in my bag and I put that on, and I want to sneak up behind them and I want to go, I'm so cold.
All right, here we go. I would like you to roll stealth for me, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah.
Nanna and Fen, you are currently on watch. Give
having a really nice conversation.
Nanna disadvantage.
Well, you want perception, you said?
Yeah.
Well, if it hadn't been disadvantaged, the better one would have been a nat 20.
You got to get the
Doesn't help
non-human
me, though.
eyes. Those human eyes do nothing for you.
I need to replace them. I have a total 10.
I got a 6.
I rolled I have a 10.
Okay.
So, I'll use minor illusion to like make the like darkness around me like a little darker so that it's but then when I get behind her, the minor illusion is turning into more tentacles that are moving. But like for now it's gonna be darker.
Fen, you don't really notice this, kind of focusing more in another direction. I think you heard something. Nanna, you hear the crunch of ice behind you. And you turn around and there is this movement of darkness, and then the darkness disappears and there are vines and a white mask staring at you.
Ready? Nanna's just like, she's got one back, she's got one in front of her, fending it off. She's ready.
I would like you to roll me an insight real quick, Nanna.
Sure.
When you whip around.
Uh-huh. Ooh. Oh no. 7.
So would you attack this thing?
It looks like the thing that wanted to keep me in the cave, so yes!
I'd like you to roll for an attack, please.
You knew what you were doing when you did this.
That's what I did.
Oh, well, this is lucky because that's a very bad roll.
Right,
very bad roll.
To your bonus action to attack a second time?
Oh, yes, I do.
But don't forget, you have 2 spears.
Well, the second one's a nat 1, so I'm just like panicked. No,
you
I'm
smacked
swinging
Fen in the
wide.
head.
Oh my! I'm swinging wide. I am not okay.
Okay. After this like initial like she takes off the mask, minor illusions like a little clown face, and it's like, gotcha.
And you see a clown Saga in front of you.
Going to bed.
Yeah. Nanna turns in early from watch and just goes straight into
it may have been a little soon for that one.
I waited 2 days.
You did. It may have been a little soon.
I mean, I know this isn't probably what happened, but just the idea that the whole time Fen does not move. Like this whole thing happens next to him and just, okay. Like it resolves before. Okay.
Just staring disappointedly the entire time.
Saga can take Nanna's place on watch. Nanna's going to bed.
I thought it would be, it's been so boring. It's 4 days of walking. I needed something fun to do. All right, I'll watch.
You just sit down, taking over the watch. Anybody else, anything real quick that they wanted to get out of the way? Any other practical jokes?
I'm sorry, I had it in my inventory, and I'm like, this is too
I
good.
mean, honestly, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Nanna does
we
not
all
like
done
it.
it. Every single one of us. Okay. 4 days passes. Nanna being assaulted by a white masked monster twice in those 2 days, but you know,
She's fine. She's fine.
No PTSD.
None. Never. What even is that?
As you guys go deeper, this is the morning of the 4th day is so cold. This is the coldest it's been. It's almost like that same punch again when you first entered. Just right
Constantly.
Just keeps going.
Nanna can feel it in her leg where it's been mending.
One moment. Ave, that morning, kind of as you start to walk, he pulls out his map. All right, we're almost to the first mark, if it is real. Hoping for the best. There was rumor, legend, story of a village called Galone, one that dwelled by the lake. We are heading to this town by the lake to find the stairway to God's heart, and this is where the oasis is, and this is where our artifact will be. We should be arriving, if this map is correct, we should be arriving in Galone today.
Nanna heard any stories of Galone before?
Roll history.
As Saga?
You may also roll history.
13?
Oh. 19.
Ooh.
It does not ring a bell for you, Nanna, but Saga, when you hear him say Galone, there's a moment, and it's just a very brief memory, but you remember being in a town, and there were some drunk men in a tavern, and they were singing a song, and you remember the word Galone in this song. So the only place you have ever heard it is in just like a shanty.
Isn't there a song like "Go Go Glow"? It's in one of the bard songs I heard in a tavern once. That's it.
Well, Rose back than most of us.
Go Go Galone.
Yeah, that's the song. I told you. You know it.
Go Go Galone, you're burning up the 409. Go Galone, go Go Galone.
You do know it.
Can Tordrick use his history to see if that spurned a drunken moment where he may have learned that song?
Go for it.
Okay. 21.
Ooh.
Oh, you were the guy that I saw.
You all met in passing just once. You remember when she starts trying to sing the song, saying Galone with a bit of a musical tune to it, it almost sounds more familiar to you. And you remember not very much. You were very drunk at the time. But you remember something in the song, Town of Stilts, Heart of Ice.
Town of Stilts. Hearts of Ice? Was that it?
Yeah, I believe so.
We're going to God's heart.
That's the destination. This is just, I know we've been at this for a while, but this is the first actual step. is getting to this town and finding the pathway.
Town of stilts.
Town of stilts. Are we going to be doing more climbing? Because that's just...
We were headed to the mountains.
Yeah, in your current direction, the mountains are very much nearby. You think that during this day, if you pushed a bit into the night, you could probably, get a hand on the base of the mountain.
Oh boy.
Not like the furthest back mountain piece, but the first touch of mountain is
Closest
how
I've
deep
ever
you are
been.
into the valley. You're now kind of in that bowl of mountain. You've just hit it.
Oh boy.
And that's when the cold picked up and the ice. And it is a bit harder underfoot. Like it's almost more solid now. So when you step in, sometimes you don't even crunch all the way through. But when you do, it almost kind of feels sharp. Right. I had only heard of Galone in one book that I found in a language that I did not speak, that was mostly destroyed.
Bring him back to
but
Grace and Duchess.
It is a lead, and it is better than nothing. And if not, I'm sure we all can make fun of me later.
Believe me, I definitely will.
But hopefully that will not be the case. We should reach it today. All right.
We should
Are we
press
ready?
on quick as we can.
All right. All of you, make good pace today. The idea of having a destination actually in mind kind of adds to the enthusiasm of movement instead of just the tired of just walking. I know I go this way sort of situation. Now there's actually a goal. As you all approach, eventually you see on the horizon what looks like the reflection of a lake in the sun and a town. And as you approach, you can see that the houses all stand on stilts, none of them touching the ground.
To keep the village safe from the rising waters.
Do the waters rise here?
They have once upon a time. When the village was inhabited.
All right. Go ahead.
Did you say corruption came from the ground? Do you think they were trying to avoid that? Or is it...
It's possible.
Certainly. This
it may not be the most effective, but at the time it could have seemed reasonable. Especially the level of corruption here, if it started at the level of Galunder and then made its way to what it is now.
You said we saw reflection of water.
Mm-hmm.
Is this lake frozen?
It looks like the reflection you see isn't as big as one would have expected. And once you get closer, you can see that most of it is frozen, but there's a spot in the center that isn't. Give me some perception checks, if you'd all be so kind, as you approach the town.
Master 20.
Yeah, same.
11.
5.
14.
6.
Okay. We'll spread this out. Roshan, as you look over the houses, you can see that there's one slightly bigger house on stilts. All of them are like shack-sized. They're not very big. And as you look over them, they look completely worn by time. Like most of them have fallen apart. But there's one where the walls have turned black and vines kind of have moved up and grown along the legs, the stilts. And you can see that it looks like almost akin to grass. This is the first real plot of grass you've seen, is starting from the ground and has almost built up onto half of the house, half of this house on stilts. And you look and you can see that it's very dark and waterlogged, most of it frozen, but there is just a blackness to it. It is just still standing, but ruined in a different way than the others. Saga, as you look over, it's hard to see, but because most everything is white, a lot of things blend into each other, and it takes you a minute to make it out because it's covered in snow. But you can see, starting from where that opening is in the lake, there's something big and white that has kind of cut through it a bit, and it's raised up, and it is making its way into the mountain. It looks like a white bridge that has lifted a bit out of the lake and is then hitting against the side of the mountain base and starting to make its way up. Almost like steps.
There's a bright white staircase out there. Like stairway to heaven or something. Valhalla.
I love that song, Stairway to Valhalla.
Stairway, yeah.
It's definitely
Another
one of
one.
my favorites to pull out on the panpipe.
The Manowar remix is the best version, I have to say.
Roshan, you can see that Ave is looking at the same house as you are. That's where his attention is. He looks to the bridge, and you see a moment of relief on his face. I think that is what we are looking for. If all of you would indulge me, I would like to check out the village.
You should.
Yes, there's a house, perhaps an old chief's house, bigger than the rest. It's beset with vines, maybe grass. It looks different.
After Roshan points it out, it is visible, this kind of blackened wood house that has grass, like almost, it kind of looks like a cape. Like the house has a grass cape built onto it almost. But the grass is very dark green.
Does the way that the green grows on this house, does this remind Nanna at all of the way that the vines seemed to grow around that cave?
You see Ave has started to make his way over. We'll stick close. I just want to look inside.
Do have a care, brother. And Nanna's gonna follow after him pretty much on his heels. She's on full alert. She's got she's actually pulling out a torch from her pack just to kind of have it ready. If this is something that's corrupted, it will need fire.
All right. All of you follow a bit behind Ave, making your way to the town, which you have to do anyways to get to the lake. As you make your way in, it's so quiet. It's been deserted for who knows how long. Ave is making his way to the house that has the grass. Would anybody else like to check out any of the other houses?
Is there any indication that there's been any sort of movement here at all? Is there any disturbance in the snow?
Any tracks?
Is there any smell of like a recent fire in the air or anything like that, something may have been around here?
Okay, Fen, give me survival. Saga, I saw a nice shake of the head there for I am definitely going in a house.
She's on the lookout for trinkets. This is the perfect place.
Yeah, give me investigation, and I'll give you advantage, because as you go inside of this one that you picked, it's very sparse. It looks like everything long ago was taken.
Yeah.
The 18 on the survival roll.
Okay.
Wow. I am just doing great this whole time.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Yeah, right? Me too.
Yeah.
You got a 7 with your advantage?
Yeah. The other one would have been a 4, so
oh,
better.
Saga.
I understand.
I need perception, not investigation. I'm good at the one, but not the other.
let me do the broad spectrum, please.
Yes, I just want to see everything, and then...
Yeah, Sog, as you walk around, it looks like people up and took everything. Like, you can't find anything. Fen, as you look about, you don't smell any fire in the air. And if you glance around, you don't see anything besides the homes. There's nothing that says life and living. And the houses are still and silent. Is anybody else going into any of the houses?
As we're getting closer to the overgrown one, Nanna wants to see if there's any other house that seems to show signs of either that type of overgrowth or anything else that seems different from the rest of the houses.
That is easy enough because they all stand out against the snow a bit, and none of them look like this.
Okay.
This one is different. Ave kind of motions to the people behind him. I'll just take a peek and then step right back out.
And just there's grass growing, but is there any other vegetation or anything like that growing?
Around the town? No, that's the only spot that has vegetation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sir, I can't let you go alone. I'll come with.
All right. I can't say no.
Is there a window that looks into this house? Is there any other way to see into this place?
Yes, but it's on
the door,
so you can't see it from the ground. Roshan and Ave make their way up. Saga has kind of climbed up into another house looking for something fun, looking for trinkets. Both of you climb up. A lot of the steps are missing, and they seem, some of them, very fragile underfoot as Ave and Roshan make their way up. As you approach, there's the creak of wood, which you assume is underfoot because you're walking on this wooden structure. And you step forward. Ave takes a slight step ahead of you, just to make sure that you're a bit behind him. And from the light of the sun shining in through the windows, no shades, he looks in through the door. And Roshan, you hear a sound from Ave. It almost just sounds so pained. Just sadness, just a soft noise in the back of his throat. You see inside of this house that there is a person almost melted into the floor, corruption sticking them to the wood. It seems to have been at one point a woman, but has almost kind of flattened out in spots. And you can see where her bones stick out that kind of carpets the floor of this place. And you can see on the walls that it kind of vines out and twists around. And you hear just soft breathing of, and you can see that it is alive, and it takes a look in your direction. You also can see, wrapped in this corruption in the far corner of the room, is a crib. And Ave steps back, pulls away, and walks off. Not really meaning to leave you, but walks away from the house and just kind of drops to his knees a bit away.
Nanna would like to go over to him.
Okay, you make your way to him, and Roshan, you hear the creak of wood below you as you watch this woman, and the people standing below can see that the legs, the stilts of the house, actually start to move, just so slightly, so strained, but they're stuck in the ground, and you can just, the just kind of shriveled looking, it's almost like a grape set in the skull, focuses in on you, Roshan, but it cannot move as it stares at you. The only living thing in this town besides you. And that is where we are going to stop for tonight. Well, thank you guys so much for watching On the Backs of Gods. If you are interested in keeping track with us, if you go on Facebook, we are the Dice Cult. You can follow us. We do posts there. On Twitter, we are at Backs of Gods. We thank you so much for coming to watch, and hopefully you'll be back with us same time, same place, and we'll get to see what happens now that we have made it to the mountain and the stairway to God's heart. Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.